In programming, working with files including reading from and writing to files is very common. Documents, images, music, and other resources may differ in format, but fundamentally, they are all files. Files always belong to a directory. You can think of a directory as a folder. If we want to modify a text file, we usually go to the directory where it's stored, open the file, and edit it directly. But if we want to manipulate that file using code, a question arises: how does the program know where to find the file? To answer that, we first need to understand how directory structures work in operating systems. On Unix-like operating systems such as Linux and macOS, the directory structure looks like a tree with a root node called the root directory, usually represented by a /style files, and directories are stored under this root directory. Windows works differently. Each disk partition has its own root directory, represented by the drive letter followed by a /. Although these directory structures look different, file locations can be specified in two common ways: absolute paths and relative paths. An absolute path is a path that starts from the root directory. On Linux and macOS, absolute paths start with a /. Each directory in the path is separated by a /, and the path ends with the target file or directory. On Windows, an absolute path starts with a drive letter and a /. Directories are separated by backslashes, and the path also ends with a target file or directory. A relative path, on the other hand, starts from a reference location and describes where another file is relative to that location. When using relative paths, a single dot represents the current directory, two dots represent the parent directory. To move up multiple levels, you can chain two dots together using slashes or backslashes, depending on the operating system. To move down into subdirectories, directory names are also separated by slashes or backslashes. As you can see, relative paths usually start with single dot or two dots. In addition, the dot and slash can be omitted, so if two files are in the same directory, you can refer to one another simply by using the file name. Many code editors can help you copy a file's path. For example, in PyCharm, you can right-click a file and choose Copy Path reference to get its absolute path, as well as its relative path based on the project root. Once we know how to locate a file using either an absolute or relative path, we can start working with it in code. We'll cover the specific file operations in the next video.